What's going on, guys? B Scott here with you, and on today's show, we got your tight end sit starts heading into week number 9. I'm going to go through a lot of the tight ends, tell you whether you should be starting them, sitting them, or streaming them. So keep it locked and loaded right here at the first 4 downs. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. B Scott here with you, and we're going through the tight end sit starts heading into week number 9. So typically how I do this, I run through the must start tight ends pretty quickly, obvious guys that you're going to be starting. Then I talk about some streams and some sit options heading into the week. So, and honestly, this week, there's a lot of tough spots for some of these tight ends, so I don't have a ton of loves, to be honest. So before we get to today's content, don't forget, like the video, subscribe, share, thumb bell, all that good stuff, and then comment. If there's a tight end I didn't mention, because honestly, I'm not going to mention everyone. Drop in the comment section. I'll be glad to give you my opinions on whether you should start them, sit them, vice versa. So let's dive right into it. Let's start at the top with the must-start tight ends. And the first one has got to be Travis Kelce, playing the Green Bay Packers. Honestly, you've got to be starting him because you drafted him so high. He's still, the talent is there. Had a down game, 4 catches, 27 yards, but you're starting him every single week. Set it and forget it. Mark Andrews coming out of the bye, playing the Minnesota Vikings, looking like really the tight end 1 on the season, playing very, very well. So Mark Andrews, smash spot here. Kyle Pitts at the New Orleans Saints, not a great matchup. Going to be tough for the Atlanta Falcons overall and their pass catchers. 6 targets last week. You'll still take that even though Kyle Pitts finished with 2 catches for 13 yards. You know the upside is there. So Kyle Pitts, you got to be starting him. Darren Waller coming out of the bye. Hopefully he's healthy and ready to go. Plays the New York Giants. It should be a spot where you're firing Darren Waller. Dallas Goedert, I love him this week, playing the Los Angeles Chargers. Last week, caught 6 passes, I want to say, for 70 yards when Jalen Hurts only threw for 100 yards. So obviously he was targeted heavily, and I like it this week against Chargers. 3rd most fantasy points tight end. So Dallas Goedert, easily probably a top 5 option this week. Mike Gesicki, also a guy I'd be starting, playing the Houston Texans, give up the 4th most fantasy points to the tight end position. Mike Gesicki's the tight end 4 on the season. And yes, you got to worry the pass catchers coming back and getting healthy. Will Fuller doesn't look like he probably will be back this week, but Devontae Parker, Jalen Waddle, you see the targets weren't there last week for Gesicki, and I think that could hurt him even more as those pass catchers get healthy. But at the moment, you got to take it while it's hot. Houston Texans give up a lot of fantasy points, so you're starting Mike Gesicki. Dawson Knox, if he's healthy, you're starting him. Obviously, he had the broken hand, had the surgery. If he's playing the Jacksonville Jaguars, they give up a lot of fantasy points to the tight end position as well, so Dawson Knox must start for me. If he's out, Sweeney is a guy you potentially could stream. A deep target. Last week, still did okay. I want to say 3 catches, 30 yards, something like that for Sweeney. Nothing great, but, you know, if you're hurting at the tight end position, I understand. Dalton Schultz versus the Denver Broncos. 4th fewest fantasy points to the tight end position. Not really a great spot here. And if Dak's not playing, I would probably stray elsewhere. But Dalton Schultz, the talent is there. He still saw 7 targets, I want to say, last week. So the target volume is there. I like him as a start this week, especially if Dak is there. I got a few guys that I'm on the fence with, really. Zach Ertz, Hunter Henry, CJ Uzomah. If these guys, if you have to start them, I understand. It's not necessarily great spots for all these players, but honestly, Zach Ertz, San Francisco's been pretty tough against tight end position overall, and if no Kyler Murray's there, that's going to hurt. Hunter Henry should have been a smash spot last week. 1 catch for 30 yards, only 2 or 3 targets, I want to say. So I still like Hunter Henry's value going forward, so you're probably starting him. And then CJ Uzomah, he's always a touchdown threat. Without the touchdown, you see what his floor kind of is. It's pretty low, but I'd still take the chance here. They're playing the Cleveland Browns, and they got to bounce back to get this victory in the division. So I like him as a potential start too. Now, on to some sits. Noah Fant at the Dallas Cowboys. It's actually a good matchup. Dallas gives up a lot of points and a lot of yards to the tight end position. You saw Tyler Conklin, I want to say, had 70 yards last week. But Noah Fant, I can't really trust. At this point, Teddy Bridgewater and the Denver Broncos offense, it just looks stagnant. It doesn't look like Bridgewater's even interested in throwing the football. And Noah Fant is now going to have to deal with the return of Albert O. I'm just going to call him Albert O because I can't pronounce his last name. He had 3 targets, 3 catches, I want to say. So now you got Noah Fant in an offense where Jerry Jeudy's returned, the secondary tight ends returned. I don't love Noah Fant's outlook going forward at this moment, and honestly coming off a down game, and he's been really hit or miss. It's a good spot for Noah Fant, but I might be looking elsewhere considering I don't know if he's going to see enough target volume to return on his investment. So another guy, Tyler Higbee versus Tennessee Titans. He's a sit for me. Smash spot last week, should have did good. Hasn't done anything really in the last few weeks. He only got 2 touchdowns on the season. Only cleared 50 yards on the season 1 time. That was week 1. He's got 0 10-plus PPR games since week 3. So I don't like Tyler Higbee, and he's going against Tennessee Titans, give up the 6th fewest fantasy points to the tight end position. So Tyler Higbee's a sit for me this week. And then Pat Freiermuth. He was obviously a huge ad on the waivers, and I understand if you got to start him, he's running hot, but not a good spot. Playing the Chicago Bears, 2nd fewest fantasy points to the tight end position. 10 plus PPR points to a tight end only one time, and that was week 1. And really, he's played some good tight ends. Darren Waller, TJ Hawkinson held both these players to, 4 catches right around 40 yards. So for me, this week, Freiermuth is a sit, but I like his outlook going forward. Don't get me wrong. On the stream options, I got a few tight ends that I would be potentially streaming here. Jared Cook at the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, yes, he hasn't looked pretty in the targets. He's getting 5 to 6 targets here and there. Not horrible. Coming off a game in which he had 2 receptions for 25 yards, not good, but still saw 5 targets. And the Philadelphia Eagles, giving up the 6th most fantasy points to the tight end position, giving up 6 touchdowns. That's tied for the most in the league, and the most receptions overall to the tight end position. So I like Jared Cook as a potential stream option this week. I know he's been up and down and really hasn't produced hugely, but could see a decent volume here in a game in which there could be a lot of points. So I like Jared Cook this week. Another guy, Tyler Conklin. I had him in the stream last week. I got him in the stream again this week, playing the Baltimore Ravens. Give up the most fantasy points to the tight end position, the 3rd most yards, tied for the most receiving touchdowns, and 6th to the tight end position. And coming off a pretty decent day, 5 catches for 57 yards on 7 targets. Dallas, I told you last week, gives up a lot of yards to the tight end position, typically. So I like Conklin. He's had 5+ targets in 4 of his last 5 games. And going forward, this is just a good spot against the Baltimore Ravens defense that's really given up a lot through the air. So Tyler Conklin, he's a good stream option. And then Mo Alley-Cox. Now, yes, he's a very touchdown-dependent tight end. But the New York Jets, I want to say, give up the 10th most fantasy points to the tight end position. And Mo Alley-Cox is still seeing 3 to 4 targets roughly. He does get some red zone looks. Now, yes, you've seen Jack Doyle get into the end zone last week. But I still like Mo Alley-Cox's outlook going forward as just a better tight end position. So if you got to stream him this week, I understand it's a pretty good spot here on a Thursday night football game where the Colts should be heavy favorites. I know the Jets coming off a big win. They should be excited, but I just don't see that production really sustaining and on the road against the Colts. So Mo Alley-Cox, a good stream option for me heading into week number 9. So that's it. That's the tight end sit start. Some streams, some sits, and your obvious must starts heading in to week number 9. So if you like the video, don't forget, subscribe, share, thumb bell, all that good stuff, and then comment. I didn't mention every single tight end. If there's a tight end you're thinking about starting, drop in the comment section. I'll be glad to give you my opinion on it. So for the first 4 downs, it's been B. Scott, and I'm out.